Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over sleeping in a non-permissive environment. Right now I'm off in the woods in a location. It seems pretty, this is the place I would pick to set up, to try to sleep anyway. Not that you're going to be doing too much sleep in a non-permissive environment. But if I had to, this is where I'd do it. I see some other locations too, but we'll get into that. We'll go over location and why I picked it. Thank you guys for tuning back in, and let's get into this video. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go over why I chose this location of all places, right? So we're in a pretty open forest right now, lots of trees in rows, wide open, no brush on the ground. So really there's no concealment out here from anything. I can see, honestly, in any given direction, I can see at least 150 to 200 meters. So that being said, it's not super flat out here, but it's pretty flat. So I'm gonna be looking for high elevation. I'm going to be staying away from avenues of approach, so roads, or also things that draw people, in terrain features. Let's see what else. Now I'm looking to put myself somewhere so I have a high vantage point, right? Because we're going to be setting up a patrol base or something like that, because we're going to be pulling security. Not everybody's going to be sleeping. Most people are going to be up. There's going to be a few getting sleep, and there's just switch off on shifts so that we can actually get sleep. Whether that's a day or night, doesn't matter. Still gonna be pulling security 24/7. Security never stops. So I picked this spot. I am kind of trapped here between an avenue of approach off to my right and one off to my left. Now that one's quite a ways away. I'm on top of a little bluff. Not even a hill. I won't even call it a hill. It kind of just climbs up a little bit here, and then I found a low-lying spot at the top of the hill. So now if you were over there, you might be able to see where I would set up a sleep system here, or if you're just gonna lean up against a tree, sleep with your either just your bivvy, rain poncho, a whoopee, really anything, honestly. In a non-permissive environment like this right now with the weather, I would just probably slump up against a tree or on the ground somewhere in a pretty concealed area that actually either has concealment or cover. Cover's obviously going to be better. It's like I see off over here, there's a little bump in the ground, right? These are your micro terrain features, super important. So this is a little terrain feature, right? Micro terrain feature on top of this little bluff here. I want to stay in there so people can't see me. Nobody can see me from there. Nobody can see me from there. And nobody can see me from over there. So the only place they can see me is from here. And now we're going to have security 360 degrees if we're in a patrol base. Depends on how many guys you have, obviously. Now what we're talking about, going to be setting up for a lot smaller group of people. So it's going to be a little bit different pulling security. If you're just in teams, 4-man teams or 5, your security is going to look a little bit different, but we're not talking about that today. But try not to get off topic. So that's why I picked this location. Avenues of approach, I'm in a pretty good spot because I can either see them or I'm far enough away that I can't see them, but I can hear them. So if someone's coming, I'll know they're coming. Also, terrain features. The main terrain feature, I picked the hill. I wanted to be up high so I could see everything. So my guys pulling security while I'm resting can see. Allows you to pull security a lot better. So we have distance we can see. So we can engage the enemy before they even know we're here. Or vice versa. We have the opportunity to get out of dodge. And then for the other terrain feature, I picked a micro terrain feature. Picked this little dip in the ground. Nothing special, just a little dip in the ground, just to hide. Overhead cover, not really any out here. There's really nowhere to get overhead cover out here. I mean, some of these bigger trees might offer some, but they're pine trees. They're very thin. So not a lot of overhead cover. Overhead cover is important too. Now, like you see in Ukraine, we got drones. Drones have become a big thing. So if I could fly my drone out here, I would. And I would show you guys how like important overhead cover is. A lot of those guys over there, they don't have overhead cover. Well, the Russians specifically, they seem to be usually in the open. So your overhead cover is probably really important. If you can maintain overhead cover in your patrol base and everybody has it. Now, if you're you got dug in fighting positions, you're gonna be putting overhead cover in. So that's gonna benefit you. Camouflage your positions. Just like when you put your ruck down, you should have your ruck covered and camouflaged. Like I got scrim on my ruck, but I would throw over this sticks and make it blend in with the ground. I got a lot of pine needles, obviously, pine trees. So I'm gonna cover it in pine needles, sticks, whatever the ground looks like, I'm gonna make that bag look like. I'm gonna stash that. And now for you and your sleeping system, you could cover it or camouflage it if you want, but it depends on how long you're staying here. If it's for a short stop, you're gonna stop here for a couple of hours or even less. Stop here for 45 minutes. And you got two guys that need to get rest because they've been pulling security and the other guys slept during the night. Perfect. That's what's gonna happen. Those guys are gonna sleep. The dudes that were sleeping at night, they're gonna pull security to let you guys get some rest. So then in that case, I wouldn't worry too much about camouflaging your shit. It should already be done. You should have scrim on everything. You should have scrim on your ruck. You should have it on your helmet. You need to break up your outline. Okay, so then after that, now you could really choose whatever you want for a sleep system. I would end up pulling out my sleeping bag and my bivvy. I'm not gonna worry about a sleeping mat unless we're staying for a long time. So mission's gonna dictate what you need. So now I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about here, so you have an idea of what it should look like. All right, guys, so as you can see, the woods are pretty open, right? So this is behind me. Over there, you can see pretty far. All the way down, you can actually see over to that other little bluff. It's right over there. So we have a avenue of approach over there, and then you got this hill. All right, now I'd have guys pulling security on the other side of the hill, have a guy over here off to my left, and a guy off to my right if at all possible, and then they're not gonna have intersecting fire because we don't have enough guys. But now over here, you can also see pretty far over there. Now there's another avenue of approach down here. But now I have the ability to see it and hear it. So I'm gonna know before they even get close enough to see us, which is what you want. You want to be right at that perfect distance. There's no perfect number on that. That's really at TC, big time. So now I picked this spot. I'm gonna show you guys. It's this spot here. You can't even really see it. There's a little dip here and then it kind of comes up, right? It's higher here, it's higher there. It's a little bit higher there, not too much, but it's a good spot to kind of lay low. And you could even, in between trees, try to hide yourself as much as possible. Now over here, this would be even better, right? So I'm just gonna take you guys over here real quick. So now it's a lot more open, right? As you can see, it's open over there. But see this little bluff, this little bump in the ground. This is a good spot where you could actually lay behind this, and you still can pull security every direction you need to, but you're covered at least from one direction. And I think you can see that right there. There's that little road. It's cut through the woods. And then here you're covered by these two terrain features. You're covered by the hill, covered there, kind of covered there as well. And then you're open on one side, so really you have three sides covering you. So you're pretty covered up there. So now we're gonna come back over here to where I set my rock down, and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna pull my stuff out and then I'll get back and I'll show you guys. Okay guys, so this is what I'm talking about when I talk about concealing your ruck, right? Now like see the strap looks very green compared to the ground. So like this, you're gonna tuck all this shit back up underneath your ruck. I covered that. Now you tell me if you're gonna be able to see that from there. You're not. That ruck is concealed, nobody's gonna fucking see that. Perfect, that's what we want. That's my sleep system, right? Yes, it's the Snowpack Stratosphere. It's got poles. Why do you need to use the poles? You don't. Use them if it's like really raining or it's snowing. Now I have this too. So this is my other camera net, right? Now, in this case scenario, if I have to conceal all of my equipment and leave it for some reason, now you would never leave the sleep system out. The only time your sleep system comes out is when you're in it. When you're done sleeping, it goes back in your ruck. That ruck is ready to go right now. If I had to grab it and leave everything else, I could grab that ruck and go. So, in this case scenario, we're just out here. We're on a short stop. And short stop is, I'm going to say it's 45 minutes, right? I'm probably not going to conceal my ruck, but I did, right? Doesn't hurt to conceal your ruck. Camouflage that ruck. I would cover my sleep system in this netting, and I'm going to camouflage it, and I'm going to crawl inside of it. And I'm going to sleep. I'm going to get up. I'm going to pack my stuff, and I'm going to move. So it's a very simple concept, but the big part is picking the right location. Location is everything. Since I have no overhead cover here, that's why I would camouflage my sleep system as well, because this looks very out of place. You see how dark green that is? The ground is not green right now. In the season we're in, the ground is not green. I don't honestly know if it's ever going to change. It's my first season here in the summer, and we're not even summer yet. So, but this is how I would set it up, just like this. I got my sleep system. I got my ruck, which for some reason the GoPro just doesn't do justice. You can't even see it on the GoPro. I don't know how, but so I'm very concealed from here. This is what we want. You want to have a concealed location where you can take your short stops and you can rest, because, well, you need to be rested to fight properly and to fight well. So this is probably one of the most important things you can do. Yeah. That's it for this video. I don't really know where else to take this video. This is as much as I'm going to teach you what I know, right? This is all I know. I spent a lot of time in the field, but I'm about to spend a hell of a lot more time in the field this year. So, at the end of this year, the end of the training cycle, I'll come back out here and I'll do this again. So I'm going to throw a part 1 on this. Maybe not, but a part 1, because I can definitely elaborate more on this. But this is the basics. So this is really the basics of sleeping in a non-permissive environment. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into this. But that's all I'm going to touch on in this video. I'll definitely elaborate more on this later. But if you guys like the video, please throw a like on it. It helps with the algorithm big time. The channel's been doing really well because you guys have been very responsive. Love when you guys get in the comments. It's literally the best thing ever. I love that, talking with the people that, you know, we're reaching out to. Please subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And if you haven't, that live stream that we put up on Sunday, I think it was Sunday that we put that live stream up, go click on that Discord link so you guys can link up with other people and train. Need to train. Training's really important, because otherwise all this gear is for nothing. So please get out there, meet people in your communities, build your tribe, train hard. I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.